Good morning to everyone, Dr. Sambarage and the colleagues and distinguished panelists and members. My topic today is to talk about AI as an augmenter of emotional intelligence in vocational and higher education. Um, so this is a topic that a lot of people are concerned with today's world because AI is changing most of the things that we do. And thankfully for healthcare professionals, don't worry, your jobs are very safe. You're not going to lose your job, but you'll have to get ready for the revolution that is happening and every day, every second, everything is changing. If you're going to lose your job as a healthcare professional, it's you're not ready to take up the challenges of AI. So therefore, that's my first opening remarks. Um, we all know that the learning happens in the brain, isn't it? Everything is surrounding the brain. We all know that we have about 100 billion brain cells. And there is this myth that we only use 10%. That is actually a myth. For centuries, we've looked at brain as a we only not many people are using brain. So in current facts of studies, researchers have showed us that every minute the whole brain works. So there's the input coming in, it processes, and then go to the memory, and then you retrieve that memory. So that's happening right throughout. So therefore, a brain as an organ, it uses 20% of our blood flow, and 20% of our energy is consumed by that. But it's only weight of the brain is about only 2% of the total body weight. So that's an important organ sitting on the top of your body, and that's a part of the area that we'll have to be concerned with. So let me look at my. I will be giving an introduction to the EI, emotional intelligence, and of course artificial intelligence, and the role of EI and AI in education. And let's look at some of the areas that we can use both in education. Um, if you look at the emotional intelligence, it has been talk of the town for a couple of decades now, but it's coming more and more an important element how your emotions would be organized. Recognize that you are having emotions, what type of emotion that you have, they understand and manage their own emotions. As healthcare professionals, we not only have to manage our emotions, but we'll have to manage loads of people who are coming to us. They come to us with lot of emotions. They don't come to you smilingly. It's not always happiness. There are sadness, pain. We all have to look at. And then, of course, due to resource scarcity in today's world, healthcare is really compressed with many obstacles to deliver our care. So, in nutshell, the emotional intelligence is about self awareness. You aware what you are feeling now, and look at empathy, how you can regulate yourself, and of course motivate others to do the same thing as you go on. It's very important for leadership qualities. You'll be a leader one day. You're leading your team. So leadership quality is very important. And for the team, dynamics, emotional intelligence, uttermost important, of course, mental well-being. Now, you have heard about IQ, intelligence, IQ, intelligent quotient. So likewise, now we use that as an EQ, the emotional intelligence, emotional quotient. EQ is basically, in a simple sense, ability to recognize and understand and manage your emotions and empathize with others. So, going forward, if you really look at just to give a briefing on what emotional intelligence is, there's understand that you are having an emotion, and then recognize what type of emotion that you have. Then you plan to respond for that emotion, and then look at surrounding people, how they are responding, how they are looking at your emotions, and then you adapt it, and then of course you build relationship with others. That's the cornerstone of emotional intelligence. If you really look at it, we call it, you as a healthcare professional, so educationist, you'll have to have you're looking at You're working with people with a lot of emotions. So as a educationist or a healthcare professional, you will have to not only have to hard skills that are necessary, technical skills that you learn every day, but you have the soft skill, how to manage people. So emotional intelligence takes a failure, given a lot of respect now today's world. If you look at the jobs in all kinds, any job, so they would really, when you do the research, they would identify that there's only contribution of the technical skills will come to 33%, but emotional intelligence or emotional skills will contribute to 66% of your success. Now, if you're a leader, look at it, 85% is based on your emotional intelligence. If you manage your emotions, you could do a better leader, become a better leader. And then why it matters in education. So if we all happens in the brain, how you get the inputs, you process it and go to the memory, then you retrieve it. That's how the whole our learning process happens. And then as I mentioned before, there are a lot of obstacles that we faced, and in fact, Dr. Samarage and myself just did a session at the College of Administrators on healthcare at crossroads, and what the leadership who have leaders should have there, what are the qualities the leaders should have, because always there will be challenges. So therefore the critical thinking is very important, how to prioritize your issues, how to prioritize a response, etc. And you create an aesthetic environment with emotional intelligence, because if you create a boring environment, there's a boring emotions of the audience, and versus that you create an aesthetic environment where all the audience are open their senses, getting everything input into their sense, and then of course they can process it. That's an effective learning. For academic success, of course, emotions matter. You know, all of you all have gone through the advanced level or ordinary level, competitive exams. All matters with this. You know, you have the competence to pass the exam, but emotions, if you're emotional at that day, if you get panic, you fail. So therefore, emotional intelligence would definitely create academic access if you manage them well. And to create global citizens. So you should be able to move and work in anywhere in the world. You should be able to talk to people anywhere in the world, and then different races, different religions, cultures, all that you start empathizing them. You are trying to respecting them, and most importantly, when you try to go to work, how you adapt your work. And workplace adaptation is also very important, because if you can manage emotions, you'll be a better worker. The key question would be how AI can enhance both cognitive and emotional aspects. The cognitive is all about reasoning. You should have an answer. You should challenge, or you should have an answer to a question rather than postponing it. So how can you improve your reasoning ability? And of course, how can you manage your emotions? So that's a good question to answer as you go on. Then what are the benefits of EI in education? So it will improve the outcomes if you manage your emotions. Then you start thinking you're in that particular group, and you think it's you're part of the group, not excluded from the group. And of course, then you improve your learning. And then student well-being and retention, because when students are in a learning environment, they not only have educational requirements, they have many other environments, many other requirements like social, economic, and then family, etc., etc. So therefore, if you then manage your emotion, then of course, well-being is better. Workforce readiness. Um, you will be a better communicator. You'll be a better the employers will drive and try to capture you as soon as you finish. Now, thankfully for the IHS team, now we have hospitals on our doorstep, tapping every day. Do we have any nurses? Do we have any physiotherapists? Do we have biomedical scientists? They are waiting with the jobs. You know, that's what when you create a good brand of employers, a good quality healthcare professionals or education professionals, then you have enough jobs in hand. And finally, the holistic development. Education is the holistic development of a person. Training is you train for a specific purpose in a short term. And then for learning is you until you die, you learn. Learning happens every time. When you get something, process it and put it back. So it's a holistic development of a person through education that would support you and you become very resilient people. Any challenges you can take. So that's important to manage emotions. What is artificial intelligence? What does it do? Artificial intelligence, basically, it's a capability of a machine to imitate intelligent human behavior. I'm repeating that again. It is all about imitating. Technology will imitate us, how we think, how we respond, how we analyze. All that is coming from us to basically a technology. So, so it's all about human behavior, how we respond to things. It will imitated by a technology or computer. So it's in the field of computer science, and where the machines are capable of performing tasks typically with human intelligence. So let's go into how can we uh, artificial intelligence could improve emotional intelligence, and those two together, that conjunction would give a better education outcomes. So one of the key things that you have to really look at when you try to augment the education with AI, it'll definitely enhance and support and strengthen the emotional intelligence. Um, uh, Typically, with the current generation who are always with the technology, so they would love to go into that virtual environment as soon as possible rather than being in the physical environment. So the balance of these two is very important in today's world to get a better, effective outcome. Then it's all about understanding, monitoring, responding emotions more effectively by using technology. Let's look at one of the key things that when you use AI, it will give not only for different responses. You can monitor different responses. You can monitor the emotions. And then, of course, there are new areas will develop in education. Um, uh, Remember this, a lot of people are scared. A lot of teachers are scared. A lot of lecturers are scared. A lot of professors are scared. Because if you have old-fashioned way of doing things, you think the AI will come and replace me. No, no, no. It will never replace you. It will augment you, right? So they would definitely support you in order to do things. Now, in a classical way, those days for us to do a lesson, it takes about a couple of weeks, to prepare for the lesson. Nowadays, you can prepare that in half an hour. But how you put your EI, emotional intelligence, into that is the one conjunction that will happen. So if you look at the emotion intelligence, so AI will detect the emotions. AI can detect the classroom emotions. AI can detect the behavior of a person. So therefore, whether they are confused or through facial recognition and maybe the voice when they respond to you, those can be captured by AI. And also, that will alert though when you in a group class or a lecture, you can get alerts to the educator that there are things happening in any change in emotions. Then the thing, most important thing is personalized feedback could be taken, especially in if you go around, and we do have technology at IIHS, we do use that individualistic, personalized education. So once with the AI, you have your own teacher right beside you. Then moving, it also acts as a coach. We all know not many have uh, coaches around you. You have your parents, but the generation gap should come in, and you try to get isolated with your hormones coming in young kids. So then you're kind of in a circulated environment. So this AI would definitely monitor you and coach you in your learning process. Um, and they can also practice communication with AI. Before you go and do the real environment, you can practice different response to different emotions. And AI also give you constant feedback on your tone that you use and the perspective of giving different emotional responses. When AI powered simulations are very useful for today's world. It's not, if you really look at today's learning, delivering academic content is not a difficult task now. I always remember my medical student days. We took about 2 to 3 months to study cardiovascular system. Now you can do it in a day. You can, when if you look at anatomy of cardiovascular system, do it in a day. Physiology, do it in a day. So that simulations that supports you to go and get used to technology, and then a real time, uh, real time scenarios. Because if you, especially in different circumstances, let's say if I'm relating to the healthcare, you might not see that cardiac arrest anywhere until you get one day when you're grown older and you become a healthcare professional. So with AI, you can simulate all those conditions. And and the other thing is, generally, we in a group classes, group educational programs, there'll be a lot of exclusions within the programs. How can you get people into the identifying people who are weak to your system, and how can you give the alternatives? That all can be done with AI and with emotions. Then, also, especially in giving the bad news, a lot of communication that we have to do with the patient also can be rehearsed beforehand, and then you can do a mistake in a entirely a virtual environment. Where you can't do a mistake in a real environment because you can't kill a patient. But virtually, you can make a mistake and can really see how a patient could die, and that emotion and the shock, all that could be you can experience. And then there are say, different support bots now where you can you will follow you. You will be in check-in every time you do things. 24/7, there are chat bots are there. They will respond to you. You need not to wait for feedback from somebody else. And then uh, finally, what happens is you become an emotionally resilient person. You're not scared to go anywhere. If you are looking at this particular event, before you go in, if you wanted to know how should I behave here, how should I act here, what are the questions I should ask, you can do it a click of a second. So when you go with the confidence rather than you are going with the nervous approach to these situations. Um, See, teachers will get burnout because teachers get tired. It's not easy to become a teacher because you have to make sure that you deliver content, and you should realize the way people will, students will absorb that content. You'll have to make sure that they will put out that content back on exams and all that. So therefore, so much of automation could be done. As you know, at IHS, you have once you do MCQ, automatically you get the your response back immediately because it's automated. Similarly, structured essays also can be automated. Likewise, so many things could be automated where the teacher will have to go one by one and printing papers and going through everything, and then they can do it. So therefore, the result would be lower teacher emotional exhaustion, and then of course, better student climate to create. Then, if you look at the vocational and higher education, there could be a place where you can create a personalized and precision education. It's happening in healthcare. We are trying to do something now. Generally, we assume everyone is equal and we give a treatment for them. And then some might not really work for you. Our assumptions may be wrong. So, likewise, in education also, what we are trying to do is we understand all the learner profiles are equal, all are coming at same literacy levels, and etc., etc., etc. So when we do deliver education, sometimes it might not be um, suited for you. So therefore, with this, we can analyze with AI and EI, analyze your emotional content and the cognitive content, both cognitive and of course emotional content, and then see profiling you what are the students that I have today. And then it's called precision learning. Learning could be precisely for that particular person. And it gives you 24/7 support. So teacher and anywhere in the world, whilst you're at work, whilst you're wherever you are, you can use AI. Then adaptive systems will also remove you from difficult situations as a teacher. Um, and also, the large resources could be we are using for education can be stopped simply. I think I presented about 10 years ago to train 1,000 nurses of a top-up bachelors. So we could save nearly 100 billion rupees just not printing stuff, not correcting stuff. So all that effort that you put could be saved, and not only the teacher's time, but also the monetary benefits. When then the other thing is for students, they also get burnout. You can reduce the student burnout, where you have a personalized tutor, as I told you before, and they can explain continuously if there's an issue. Um, so routine issues, questions could be automated. You can have a bot answering you most of the time, common ones. And then if you can screen the specific ones to answer by the physical teacher, that could be done. Otherwise, the virtual teacher could always support you. And how to get into the better resources. And of course, it goes beyond the classroom hours. So it's classroom. I think my prediction is the classroom will slowly but surely disappear. It will be on the corridors. As you can see, we have large corridors. You learn a lot of things in incidental learning on the corridors. You learn on the cafeteria. You learn on the class. When you are watching a movie, the classroom, there'll be a challenge in the classroom. How much are you going to stay in the classroom? Because the academic content could be delivered in no quick time. So immersive AI skills training, go into virtual environment, as I told you before, you can do many things, not only delivering content and simulating environments, but really looking real-time scenarios. Now we are in the process of doing a basic life support system that typically we do physically everywhere in the world. What we did was when you are trying to do a basic life support to a patient, you will have so many people around you watching you. So therefore, and it could be your road traffic accident, you are trying to do the revival of the patient. But that could be immersed. When you go to the virtual environment, whilst you are doing it, you can create that scenario around you. Then, of course, training could be a scale at any given time rather than in a classroom 40. You can do 400 at any given time with the virtual environment. So, accessibility to education can be improved dramatically by using AI. Anywhere in the world, you can deliver programs. And then, of course, that will include people who will not come that particular time or that particular physical entity, because you have it expand. You can expand a lot on including many people, and of course, and then if you find a issue in a educational delivery or assessment, you can intervene very quickly and then support. Then you can automate the personalized feedback, because most of the time students or the candidates are a bit skeptical, especially in this part of the world, South Asia, to give a feedback of a teacher's delivery or tutor's delivery. So if you automate automatically, you can get a feedback. You don't know from where it is coming from, but all that can be to the teacher as well as to the students. Most of the grades, quizzes, everything could be automated, that both sides will get the feedback in no quick time. Then ethical considerations. Now, when you look at AI, there's no emotions, we would say, but we could combine the emotional intelligence and AI and create an environment where you would really empathize with people. So combination is very important. These two, then it becomes a kind of something closer to human. Therefore, that will support you continuously. Yeah. Then in conclusion, so AI's most powerful role is to augment, not to substitute. AI cannot substitute the teacher or the lecturer, but they can augment the things that we are doing, improve that we are doing. The technology can help educators to engage, inspire, and support the whole students holistically. AI amplifies the cognitive and emotional dimensions of learning, which I mentioned before. And then, if when used wisely, AI makes educators more adaptive, inclusive, and human-centered, rather than they would come and rattle out what they want to say, but they would be more student-centered and more beyond that, a student, a human, so you can be a more humane behavior that you can have. Then takeaway from this particular session would be um, when you have emotion proper, if you can manage your emotions, you have better learning outcomes. When you have a more human connection, empathy, and ethical judgment, it's very important to make a student-centric environment. And then, of course, it will support tutors, simulations, and analytics to analyze the students' behavior, and their way of doing things will be important. But when you implement this, so we have to remember, when you implement the software, if you automate something, if you have a problem in your manual system, it will become 1,000 times. The problem will be you will multiply by 1,000 times. So first thing is you have to analyze the manual process first, understand what are the gaps are, then apply AI and the other tools. Otherwise, become disastrous. Very important to know that. Then, of course, finally, it's not only a mind that you're talking to, but you talk to the heart as well. Then finally, so when artificial intelligence empowers emotional intelligence, the education becomes not just smarter, but kinder, more inclusive, and truly human environment that you create. Thank you.